A One Piece game, more commonly called AOPG, is a game based around the anime One Piece, and it is a marvel in terms of consistency and graphics. They update usually twice a month at worst and once a week at best, with the most recent update focusing around Gear 4th, Snake Man. As someone who spent a very minuscule amount of time on this game, and has been playing since the game's release, I feel I'm very qualified to give a review of this game in a fair and honest way. I'm going to be talking about the good, the bad, and everything in between. I've always thought starting on a positive note is nice, so let's talk about the game at its strongest, that being the bosses and its animations. The bosses are fun to farm, especially the Gear 4th boss. That dungeon is my favorite one in the game. I often do it for fun because it's really fun late game to fight a boss that has a huge pool of HP, rather than 30 waves of doing nothing for a 0.001 chance at getting the thing you want. And the animations, they speak for themselves. The only game that even comes close in quality is Greiy and Potato Online. Just take a look at these. That's got to be some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen in a Roblox game. And trust me, I've played a lot of Roblox. Another thing this game does amazingly well is giving you a sense of power. In other games, I've sometimes felt outclassed, or sometimes something I unlocked felt bad to use or underpowered. None of that in this game. Since things scale really well, unless you're using the worst fruit in the game, you will probably feel like it's around your level, or at least competent to use in the average situation. Now, obviously, some things are better than other things. It's just basic game design. Gear 5th is stronger than Gear 4th. A V2 of a fruit is better than a V1. And some fruits do scale a little better than others, but usually you can pick up any fruit you like, and you'll feel powerful and be able to have fun. And now, on to the bad. First things first, I hate the raid system! It sucks! It just sucks! Getting Gear 5th is the most tedious thing I have ever had to do in my life, because it's a 1% drop at the end of a dungeon that takes like 10 minutes to clear every single time you do the dungeon, and it's so annoying. And dungeon is a very generous term. It's more like waves of enemies that die in one hit, followed by a boss that dies in 2 hits. Very interesting, very intriguing. And to top all of that off, I still don't even have Gear 5th, because the drop rate is so absurdly low. There is only one raid or dungeon or whatever you want to call it, aside from Gear 4th raid, that is even slightly fun, and it is the Magellan raid, also known as the Impelled Down raid. And that's just because it has some slight challenge to it. But even then, the challenge it has is undermined by the fact that the drop at the end is still very low. 5% is one of the highest drop rates for a newer item in the game, and it still is so hard to get. The one thing I will give the Impel Down raid is that at least it makes me feel like I'm doing something, which isn't necessarily good, but it at least is something that no other raid has managed to accomplish. You might have noticed a running theme in my complaints with raids is that the drop rates are too low. Well, rest assured, dear viewer, that does not stop at the raids. Everything in this game has too low of drop rates. I mean, like, seriously, does Conqueror's Hockey really need to be a 0.01%? Really? It's so dumb. I had to spend 2 IRL weeks grinding Conqueror's Hockey to get it. Also, I could get King's Hockey. Getting King's Hockey was not even worth it. I mean, come on, 2 weeks of work for, what, a 0.3% damage increase? But Conqueror's Hockey is just one of the worst examples. Most of the game is not that bad. Snake Man, the newest drop, it's a 1%, and thanks to an event that's running, it's a 3% currently. But every drop is a 1%, and you might have noticed I mentioned an event that's running. They'll do that for every new update, and sometimes they'll do it for old updates. But the main problem with events is that they don't last forever. Ergo, anyone who's not there for the event is going to have to suffer with the really low drop rates. And plus, even if you are there for the event, you could just simply not have high enough stats to partake in the thing you need to do. Some things are in second C, which you need a minimum of 4,000 stats to enter, which perfectly leads into my next point of getting stats in this game is really, really slow. Well, kind of. Let me explain. You see, stats are a little wonky. I don't know if it's just me, but some stats will level far slower than others. And I think this is because how the leveling works is as you use things, their stat increases. Use a devil fruit, get devil fruit stat. Use a sword, get sword stat. On and on and on. So I think this can be attributed to the fact of you're going to use your devil fruit more than you're going to use a gun, because guns suck, just FYI. Sorry for all you gun mains, but your weapon sucks. Which is why this is less of a criticism and just more a minor annoyance on my end, especially since they've done a lot to improve this system. Quests now give EXP rather than only getting it through doing actions. You can also get EXP for your moves in other ways. Some raids give EXP. There's double EXP events. So, this is just more of a personal nitpick on my end. Overall, if I had to rank the game, I'd give it a 7 out of 10, honestly. As much as I hate the stupid raid system and hate the stupid drop rates, when the game is good, it is very good. And overall, I feel its downsides don't negate its upsides. And I feel that if you want to play this game, if you're into bandit beaters, you'll have a really good time. Overall, this gets 2 thumbs up and a pat on the back. You did good. Thank you, game, thank you. This is just a little unscripted bit at the end. I just want to say, thank you to all who have subscribed, and thank you to those who support my content. And I promise you I'll have the mochi vid out soon. There are just some minor problems that I've run into while making it. And I want to say thank you to my amazing friends who helped me, and thank you to everyone in my life. And one final thank you to my viewers, and I hope you have a good day.